All right. So today is Wednesday. On Wednesdays we go over biblical law, right? Well, in Chicago at least, what is against the law, statute commandments, what isn't against it, and so forth. Do either of you two have any questions about the law, by chance?
I know. I already know it's like 613 laws inside the
Right.
Bible. Yeah, yeah, and basically it's not 10 commandments. That's only man-made and like through religion. But I know it's 613 laws that we must comply with. That's about it. Bro.
Is there anything that you might have a question on, like if it's a sin or not to do or don't do?
Now about the women, right?
Right.
Now she wanted to know, right? Because her family, they Hebrew Israelites. Now they trying to put in her head that polygamy is wrong.
Okay.
They was Hebrew Israelite. Your cousin was a Hebrew Israelite. She killed it. Yeah. Her cousin thought it was wrong to follow polygamy, practice polygamy or something like that.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So, well, you already know the scriptures. I need Kwan. And this is one of the topics that everyone doesn't like to discuss around in the world.
Yeah.
But if you got long story short, we're gonna get the scriptures as well. Polygamy isn't something that a man has to do, right? He doesn't have to have a woman. He doesn't have to have one woman. He can have. It's really his preference. Okay. You go through the scriptures. It was Paul. Paul didn't have any wives.
Right.
You understand? But then you go back to like King Solomon. He had about 1,000.
Yeah.
You understand? Our whole nation deprives off of one man having 4 wives. You understand? Jacob. Yeah. You understand? He had 4 wives, and through that created the whole entire nation.
Yeah.
You understand? So if any Christian or any fake Israelite whatnot wants to go against polygamy, it's all throughout the scriptures.
Yeah.
You understand? Even Christ taught it. You understand? So grab me the first one. Come on, you got it.
Come. This is Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1.
All right, let me check that. If you need a Bible, we got some right up there.
Okay.
No, there's one more big one left, and then there's a whole bunch of little ones. So Isaiah 4. That one right there, that's a Tanakh. The English in that is not going to be accurate, yeah. You'll probably have to grab one of those small ones. No, same thing. One of those, like, the small little, yeah, there you go. All right, go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1.
All right.
And in that day,
what?
And in that day,
go ahead.
7 women shall take hold of one man.
So how many women?
7 women.
And then in that day is referring to like these times we're living in right now. You understand? What 7 women shall take hold of one man? What does it mean to take hold of something?
Well, like commit to that man or something like that, or come to that man, or be a part of that one man or something.
Yeah, basically, you understand? They claimed.
Basically, yeah.
I'm with him. You understand? The same way when you walk down the sidewalk, what does your woman do? Wraps her arm around your arm while you walking.
Yeah.
You understand? It's the same thing, and usually what that signifies what? They're together. You understand? It's one type of unity, like she said. You understand? So 7 women shall do that to one man in that time period. You got to think about it's so heavy right now because in today's society, black women outnumber black men 7 to 1.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand? If that's literally
even if you want to count men, strictly men, like it's like 20 times more.
You understand? Just for decency's sake, everything decency in order. Like if you have anything to say, either of you to a question or a comment, you could just raise your hand. Because this is a class, you don't want like interruptions and stuff like that. If you don't mind. No, it's all good, brother. But exactly, like today we don't really care about any of the other nations. That's them, that's cool. We only deal with Black, Hispanic, Native Indians, which is the Israelites. So you go back to our specific nation, women outnumber men 7 to 1 exactly. You understand why? Because you have all the violence going on, of course, the shootings, the police, prison systems, abortions, all these things are dwindling down the black man in particular. You understand? America really is against so-called the black man more than the black woman.
Right.
You understand? The black woman is what floods the colleges. They flood the stores and all the types of jobs you can get. Society really runs off of the black woman. You understand? Because she's more than not the #1 moneymaker in a black household. You understand? If the black household actually has a man and a woman in it.
Right.
You understand? So In that day, meaning the times that we're living in, it's like we have all the race riots, we have Donald Trump's, the immigration laws changing, the police shootings and everything like that. A black woman needs what? What does a black woman in today's time really need?
A leader.
Exactly. Is then a leader, a head, and a man to protect her.
Right.
You understand? A woman can't defend her house by herself. She can have a firearm, but let's say the man someone breaks into the house. A woman's scared of a rat, let alone a burglar. You understand? She doesn't have the mindset to actually defend her household by herself. She got 2 kids in this room, a kid in that room, and she's in her own bedroom, and she hears her house alarm going off. She's not majority of the time she's not gonna be able to fend for her family. But a man, he's gonna be like, all right, honey, grab the kids, go lock yourself in the cellar, or whatever like that, because he's more tactful and more about war. He's more get to the point. A woman, her emotions are gonna take rampant. She's gonna get scared. She's gonna start panicking, and that's how we live right now.
Right.
When there's no black man in the house, but with a black man in the house, those women are gonna be taken care of. They're gonna have a sense of support and comfort because they know if anything does happen like that, they're gonna be situated. You feel me? And because of the times we're in, even if one woman goes and gets one man, there's gonna be 6% of those women are not gonna get no man. And that's what majority of our race is basically dying off just because they can't, in quote, get a man because all the men are already taken. It would be an unjust thing for sisters to be like, know what? I don't want my man to share, my man to have more than one wife. Why? Because what are you doing? If you're so pro monogamy, what you're doing is you're telling all these other women that don't have the man, you got to be bitter and die alone. It is that these women got to die alone. Their dreams of being married and never having a kid won't be fulfilled. Why? Because all these other sisters are pro monogamy. You understand? If that was the case of it being a sin, right? Sis?
Okay, so I told him already that I'm for polygamy.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm not for is like the lustful side of it. Like if you're going to be my leader, then you have to show me that you're going to lead me and not down a path of destruction. So my thing is, okay, let's just say we were to get married and then we go out and look for a wife. Does polygamy work as like, okay, he goes out and he try to find 6 different women and then marry us all together, or is it separated?
You mean like marriage? You mean marriage as in like the ceremony and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, like a ceremony, a ceremony or something like that. Like, does he marry one wife and then they go out and find another, and then those 3 another? And like that?
I see your point. So really, I don't know if y'all to know, but the act of like intercourse, sex, is what makes you married. And of course, in the white man's society, you got to go to the court and get your certificate, and you got to go to the church and say your vows and exchange the ring and a piece of paper. That's not marriage.
Right.
You understand? That's just a business for the white man to take your bread. You understand? What after you go have that ceremony, what is the thing that people say? What do you go do after the whole entire ceremony and the party or whatnot?
You have sex. Yeah.
You go consummate the marriage.
Yeah.
The word consummate means to make official. You understand? The sex is what makes a real marriage. I'm not saying you can't have a ceremony, you can do all that, but that doesn't make you an item officially. Feel me? So, in your regard, you wouldn't want to be around for that. You understand? You wouldn't want to be around when he goes and marries another woman in that regard. You understand? And the point, like the whole thing is that, of course, y'all can discuss it all you want. I have 2 wives. So before, it's best because a lot of men in today's society they go around and they'll lie and hide their wives and do all that behind their first wife's back. And guess what that's gonna do? It's gonna cause division in your household. Why? Because she's gonna believe you're lying, you're a scumbag, you're doing this. It's more righteous and manly to just be upfront with your rib. You understand? You'll be like, baby, I got myself another wife. You understand? You don't got to tell her that you're talking to somebody, because you could always be talking to somebody. You understand? You can talk to somebody for 8 months and then end up not marrying her. You understand? That's the whole point of the dating process. is you want to get to know somebody. If you want to decide to marry them, that's your choice at the particular time frame. Feel me? So on that regard, y'all, if y'all wanted to go look for another wife yourselves, that's cool. Both of you together, that's fine and dandy. But really, if the man wants to go, he'll be like, baby, I'm gonna go handle some business real quick. I'm gonna do this, go do that. If you want to divulge your entire day to your rib, go ahead. Whenever I leave my house, I just tell baby I'm handling some business. I'll be back. Because she doesn't want to be thinking, oh, he's kicking it with her. They're over here doing all the things that I wish I could be doing with him right now. It's just going to cause a lot of strife in the family.
Right.
You feel me?
So when do you think it's a great idea to, if we were looking for another wife, to actually get another wife?
Really, there's really not no wrong time, I would say. But of course, it's the wisest thing to do is be patient with it, because you got to know a woman having a wife is basically having another job. In this thing, a woman needs time, she needs comfort. She's gonna want all this, want that, and want that. But once you get another wife, now you gotta make time for her too. Then you have two wives that make time for her. Then you gotta go to your job, and you got all your personal business you gotta handle. You gotta think. You got how thin do you really want to stretch yourself? You understand? Some men can handle 6, 7, 8 wives. Me personally, I'm pretty good with maybe 2 or 3 because I know I'm a busy man. You understand? So it's just wisdom. You got to be very wise when picking a wife, and you really got to be wise with who you marry. You understand? Because of course, women are more emotional. They're more rash when they're in their feelings and stuff like that. Yeah. And then then it's a sin to divorce your partner. And then you can't divorce anybody. Yeah, go. It's a sin to get divorced. There's no such thing as divorce in the Bible. So once you actually commit that act of intercourse, y'all two are officially married until death. Literally, unless one commits fornication. Do you know what fornication is?
Fornication is basically when you have sex with like out of wedlock. Yeah. Like,
if sex is the wedlock.
No, basically, hold on. You talking about if I go cheat on my wife or something? Right?
Yeah, but how would you cheat? If sex is marriage and you can really have as many sexual partners as you want as a man, how does cheating occur?
I don't really know. Lusting after another woman.
You lust after your wife, don't you?
I like my wife, but I'm talking about what if I had like a female I was talking to and I wanted her to be my wife. Now I know for a fact we can't go on a date, kissing each other, and I'm holding her and stuff like that. But I don't really know. We can't, because that's like the ideal of lust. Because if I already have a wife, right, and I plan on this woman to be my wife, I want to keep her upright. I want to teach her about the law, statutes, and commandments. I can't be on a date or touching her or kissing her. You know, we are the only people that don't do that. Like, if you follow the law and you say you strictly follow the law, I know you're not lusting after the woman that you plan on marrying. Until y'all seal the deal and say y'all gonna get married, then y'all can proceed doing all those other things. Because I don't want her to have even that ideology that I want to have sex with or I have sexual intentions with her. Her problem is she think if I pick a beautiful woman, she think that's the issue.
No.
She really think that's the issue. Like if they look like models, right? She'll think it's out the lust. Like, can you tell me, explain that? If all my wives, right? Say if all my wives beautiful, is that a problem to the most high?
No. And of course not. Because personally, I wouldn't want to marry anyone I'm physically not attracted to. Is that lust isn't a sin? Lust itself is not a sin. Yeah. Why? What is the word lust mean? Do you need to know the definition of lust?
Basically, you just having like a sexual desire for something.
Mm-hmm. Lust has nothing to do with sexual.
What you mean?
Lust. The definition of lust has nothing to do with sexual tensions.
Explain.
The word lust. The definition of lust is a deep desire for something.
Okay.
I can deeply desire to learn more.
Yeah.
That means I'm lusting after it, right? Yeah. I can lust after food. To eat food all the time.
Yeah.
You see the TV channel and that food looks good, you lusting after it.
Yeah. You
start drooling or whatnot. Lust itself is not a sin. You can lust after whatever you want to lust for, as long as it's a lawful thing you lusting after. Meaning I can't go lust after some pork rinds. I can't go lust after some cigarettes and some marijuana. I shouldn't have a deep desire for that. But a man, you got a deep desire for women. It's in your spirit to have a deep desire for women.
But what type of desire? What if I thought sexually about them?
You can have a sexual desire for them. There's nothing wrong with that. Why? Like I said, you're going to want to have the physical attraction to the person you're going to marry, right? That's lust itself. You have a deep desire to what? Be with her. Not only spiritually and mentally, like some men like to say. Your deep desire is still
but you know,
physically.
like she would take it an ideal. If I marry a beautiful woman, she would think strictly sex, nothing else. Like say for instance, you know your first wife, right? If you marry her, like the second wife that comes in, like I want her to agree with the second wife I'm marrying. So if she beautiful and like nice shape, and she don't think that she not qualified to be a wife because I'm for real, like this is how women think.
That's how women are. It is that's always gonna happen. Even your other rib was, of course, I don't know. Even if your other rib you got is less attractive than the first wife you had, that's really just all attractiveness is all just opinions anyway. And if somebody's attractiveness is really just based off of each individual person's opinion on what they perceive to be attractive. You understand? So the whole point is like if you go get a rib and she's pretty cool, no matter what, when you're gone out the house and she knows you have another wife, that's what she's gonna be thinking of doing.
Right.
Regardless. You understand? When I leave the house, when I leave the house, my wife over here like, so what you doing? Handling business. Oh, so you with her, huh? I just started handling business. Why does everything I have to do have to be about her? That's just a woman's mind. It is that a woman is the weaker vessel. She's not capable of blocking emotions out and stuff like that like men are. You understand? That's just women are. You can't deny that. So if you go get a rib, you don't have to let them even know each other. You understand? Your wives don't need to know each other. You're married to both of them. Your wife isn't married to her. That would be a sin. You understand? A woman shouldn't have what you do over at this household, your business. Whatever you do on this household, your business.
Right.
It's not the wife's business. They don't need your business over here. Does not need to be the business over here as well.
Right. So it'd be a bad idea to have my wife living together because that was my plan.
That would you need a lot of counsel and wisdom in that type of marriage. You understand? Having them in the same city is a bigger problem as it is. You understand? If it really just depends.
It's like if I could, right? No brothers in the UPK has their wives all within one house. If you and your wife is going at it constantly, time at time, then you can only imagine by the time you bring another woman into the house, that conflict that you have between that sister is going to be going on between that sister and a new wife as well. All right.
Think about it. If you have your wives living in one household together with you, whatever bedroom you're not in, it is that the other wife is going to be knowing exactly what's happening. Exactly. There's no discretion in that. You understand? And then when you come out that bedroom and then you go into the other bedroom, the first wife that just listened to everything that just happened in the other bedroom is going to be mad, and then she's like, "Oh, now you want to? Oh, so you picked her first? You see the problem? That's going to cause a lot of strife, and you're going to end up not living in the situation you want to be in after a couple of days.
Right.
It might seem cool and great because women are competitive against other women, so they're already going to be competing against your time. You understand? And then every time you're not in her bedroom, she's going to be thinking, what's wrong with me? Why does he love that more? Why does he love that half more than he loves me? He's giving her all the time, and this and that, because they'll be timing it. Enter the room. All right. Then y'all do it. Once you leave, all right, timer stop. Then when you go over there, that's going to create a lot of demons. It's not the wisest thing to do, having your wives live in the same house.
Now, can I marry my wives together? Like two wives together?
You mean
like it's the same ceremony, the same wedding, like everything.
You have a ceremony?
Yeah, basically. No, I want to marry two women at one time.
So you want to have sex with two?
No, not have sex. Not like that, but basically marry both. Like have sex equal, like different times. Is that right? Like,
so you have
approval of that?
When we think about it, the ceremony has nothing to do with the marriage. The ceremony is just a party.
She claims she don't want another wife in the ceremony. You know what I'm saying? You can. Like, I never say it was a sin.
It's really the ceremony has nothing to do with the marriage. So you can basically a ceremony is just like a party, just a celebration for your initial act that you will commit. It's not you can go have both of them at the ceremony if you want. But can
I have sex with both of them?
No, you cannot have sex with two of them at once. That is homosexuality.
How? They're not touching each other.
But just a woman seeing another woman naked is gay. It's a homosexual. It's homosexual. A man seeing another man broad, that's homosexuality. That's why watching porn is a sin. Watching porn is a sin. It is that for one, it's gay. You're defrauding. You're making the women whores. It is that it's basically this free prostitution. You understand? It's porn's a sin because these women having sex with whoever they want to have sex with.
Yeah.
That's being a whore,
Okay.
which is a sin. So no threesomes, orgies, all that. That's a sin. You feel me?
Okay.
What you do in this household, cool. In that household, cool.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what you all can do, whatever y'all want to do in that bedroom. That's between you and your wife. But once you bring a third party in, then you have crossed the line and you have to begin to start sinning. Feel me?
So basically, how do you get married? Do you get married through contract or just agreement, just to say I'm married to you? Because I believe in contract. I don't believe in marriage license, but I believe in contract.
Contract like paper?
Yeah, paper, and like lay a seal on my paper or something.
Yeah, that's not necessary either. When you like all you got to do is she's down. Well, in today's society, because back in the time of, so I'll tell you how the school operates, right?
Okay.
The school, how we operate, brothers and sisters coming to the school, cool. Women are off limits for 6 months when they first come into the school. That means no man can talk to her besides the person that she's learning from, or at classes. No brothers are allowed to go over here try to hit on her.
Right.
She's off limits, period, for 6 months. Then after that 6-month period is over, then if any brother has an interest in her, they got to contact the heads of the school, like the head of her, let's say in Chicago. We have a sister in Chicago, and let's say Kawan's interested in her after her 6 months are over. He got to contact the head of Chicago, say, so, excuse me, sir, I have an interest in this sister. I wanted to see if it would be possible if we could start courting or dating, right?
Yeah.
And then what he would do is he would find out with sister, sis, this brother's interested in you, yada yada yada, right? And she was interested as well. Then these two can court and quote date for about another 6 months, right? Meaning they can go out on dates and stuff like that with permission granted. No kissing, no hugs,
That's what I'm saying about the second wife. What if I did that? Not with the second wife, but I just did that because I'm talking to the second wife.
If you're in the school, that would be taboo.
No, I'm not.
If you go grab some sister out in the world,
yeah,
go do it. That's you. That's y'all business. This is the school's rules. And I said why? Because if you're in the school and you're claiming to be a woman of God, because all these or women of the Lord, all these women out in the world, they're not women of the Lord. They're whores. They've had sex with multiple partners. They're still having sex with multiple partners. They're wearing whatever they want to wear, like a prostitute. They're going to the strip. They're working at the strip club. They ain't righteous women. But a righteous woman, she should only have one man in her entire life. Of course, we live in a society now which it's acceptable to go have sex with partners and all that. But once, like my daughter, I just had a daughter. So when she grows up, the first boy she ever gets with, I'm not saying like dates or whatnot. She can talk to people. She can talk to boys. It's cool. But if those relationships don't work out, she won't be doing no sexual acts with that man. You understand? And so she won't be given permission to date or court until she's at least 20 years old.
So do you believe in the sheep? Like he gotta get the white sheep under her when he take her virginity and give it to you, right?
That is technically law. Yes, that's a law for a young maiden, or sister, your daughter, or whatnot. That's law to prove, because if she does not come out with that sheet red, that's what she was, a whore. And she went and snuck off and slept with some other man before she got married with this man.
So basically, it would be wrong if a man married a woman who's not a virgin. It wouldn't be wrong.
Today's society. You got to think about today's society as well. The time frames we living in have a dramatic outcome on how things go. You go about things. Find me a virgin in 2019.
Right.
Literally, you know how hard it would be to find a woman that's a virgin that's not 16 years old? Even 16-year-olds, you don't find very many of them virgins anymore. You feel me? So many sisters have been whores their whole life, but once they change their life and become a brand new person, it's like they've never had anybody before. But of course, technically she did have it, so she's a virgin into the Lord's eyes. Or a maiden is what I'm going to call it. Virgin, in the scriptures, the word virgin doesn't mean a woman that's never had sex. A virgin is just a woman of marriageable age. which would be like 18, 21.
Young, right?
So, yeah, 18, 21, somewhere around that range after she's became a woman. You understand? White man wants to say a female becomes a woman when they have their first flower. Well, some children have their flowers at 9. So just because she had her flower and bled out doesn't mean she's a woman. You understand? You want to wait until a female has actually undergone and understands her own body. How can she expect to understand someone else's body if she's still developing and understanding herself? You feel my point?
Yeah, I understand.
So when it comes to the whole marrying a virgin, the odds are you're not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen in America. You understand? The whole point is when a sister comes into school, right? After that 6-month period, she became a new woman. She wasn't the sinner that she was living in her pattern before. She got off drugs. She stopped whoring herself. She stopped lying. She stopped eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. She became a brand new person into the Lord's eyes, right? Because she changed her life. And now after she changed her life, everything that she did prior to that time, the Lord pushed that away.
Yeah.
That woman she used to be is dead. So it's as if she's in quote she was reborn. Now she's in quote what you would call a virgin again. Of course, that's not going to change her body as in the type of way she didn't already have sex before. Of course, she knows she had sex before, but that was in her wickedness. Now the next time she has sex, it's in her righteousness, and that's like the first man she's ever been with as her new woman. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, you can have, if you want to go get a sister out in the world, however you handle it is how you handle it. But in the school, we just have specific guidelines on how you.
So if you get a sister here, because you met her here, you have to follow the guidelines of the school.
Yes. If the sister's in the school, you follow the guidelines of the school. If you find her out on the streets of Chicago, that's just however you handle it is how you handle it. Feel me? You can marry her as quick as you want. You can wait as long as you want. That's your decision.
So the moment you have sex with a woman, biblically you are married.
Yes, period. And you can't do away with her.
Right.
And you can't end the relationship.
And what if like somebody like they knew what's going on, they just had sex with the woman, so they still have to stay with the woman? Or like,
if you now since you know sex is marriage, you're obligated to stay with her.
Now after first I gotta know the knowledge, right? If I ever had sex with her again, that's when it happens, right? Or even if I did anything in the past with her. Like I'm trying to basically say, right? Say if someone was sinning their whole life, because remember, God can't count you for your sins, but basically if you don't have knowledge of it. And what happened once you became knowledgeable of your sin? So once you do it again, now you have knowledge of it. So
then you'll be punished for it.
So basically that's what I'm saying. So now since I got knowledge of it, if I go have sex with her, right, it will be we married, right?
Are y'all technically a couple right now?
Yeah.
Y'all married already, because guess what? You're married already because y'all been already, she's still with you. It's not like you had. It's not as if you and her got together and then separated already.
Yeah.
You understand? Y'all are still together, meaning y'all are still committing that act.
Okay.
You understand? Since y'all are still in a relationship, and now you're told that you're married, now that's what it is. And then from now on, the next, if you ever got a second wife and you actually get one, when you have sex with her, now you're married and you cannot leave either of them ever in your life.
Right.
The only way a marriage can actually be ended is either death or adultery.
If she cheated, right?
If she had sex with another man, or you had sex with a married woman. Those are the only types of, or you had sex with a man, she had sex with a woman. Fornication is any type of unlawful sex. So let's say you two were married and you went out, got a new wife, right? Or you slept with a woman and then you find out that she was married. You just eradicated your marriage.
So if he was to go out right now, like have sex with another woman, he's not supposed to tell me?
He doesn't have to.
Because I would like to know.
Yeah, a lot of sisters say that.
So then I will be practically married, like right? I will be married.
You'll be married to her and her.
So I
would like to know.
Alright.
Whenever
but she gonna end up leaving. That's the whole thing. So that means she went against God, right?
Because I
so
can't,
she,
right?
so if I had sex with another woman, right, and she left me, that would be unrighteous, right?
Yeah, come on, grab the description.
Basically.
He's gonna pull the description. Understand? Sisters say they want to know when you get another wife. They really don't, but you might as well tell them because they're gonna eventually find out.
Just a peace of mind thing.
You understand? So
yeah, I don't keep no secrets. I'm basically just like, yeah.
Not even keep. Really, it's to be real. It wouldn't be none of her business. Really, no offenses. It's because like I said before, whatever you do on your time away from her is your business, not hers. No offenses. I'm just trying to make it so y'all understand what I'm saying. Not trying to be disrespectful or anything. I ain't trying to throw no grenades.
Yeah. Well, basically, I look at it like every wife is obligated to something. One wife can be useful for this. One wife can be useful to this. I don't want them separate. I want all of them like have a connection, a relationship together.
Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing. There's brothers in the school right now that they wives sometimes go out and they kick it. If they're, of course, trustworthy enough, because, they say, oh, I love you, sis, in front of the husband, and then behind closed doors, the sis is bashing her, doing whatever she can, evil things to her, feel me? It's really your choice. Me, my two, they can, for right now, they cool in their own areas.
They stay in the same house?
No. They don't live inside of the city. That's just by preference, though. You feel me? Yeah, might as well have more establishments.
Right.
Imagine if you're all in the same house, right? You have a 2-bedroom house, let's say 3-bedroom house, right? Your one wife has a room, the other wife has a room, and then the third room is whatever it is. Maybe, yeah. Now, she gets pregnant. Any other wife gets pregnant around the same time. Now you have an extra 2 in the house, and she gets pregnant again. Now, what are you gonna do? Just buy a bigger house? There's a limit to how big a house is gonna get. Especially on a black person's salary. Feel what I mean? Why not have one house here, have this house, and have that house, and have this house? Why not have multiple establishments instead of cramming everyone into one?
Because basically you just say off a black person's salary. So if someone didn't have a lot of money and they had like 3 wives, they probably just have one big house with 5 bedrooms. Make sure that's why it's good for your wife to have a good relationship, So stuff like this won't transpire. So they won't be doing that.
Well, then in that regard, if all your wives are working, what's the difference?
I won't have my wife working. I honestly don't believe in
that. Okay, that's your preference. I don't slave. My wives do. I don't. I haven't slaved over 2 years.
Not necessarily.
Slaving, I mean, bringing
basically, I sell online, my own online entrepreneur. So I have her helping me with my business. I help her get an online business. I help my other wife get an online business, and I believe that I'm gonna create a family business with all my wives. Not just
that's fine.
That's
still incomes on each area. That's what I'm talking about. If you have multiple establishments, you might have an income coming in from that establishment, having an income coming from this one, and so forth.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't want her at like no Walmart or something like that. She my wife and things like that. I want to take care of her.
Yeah, that's natural. You understand?
All right, this is first.
Here's the scripture about the whole leaving. After your man gets another girl.
What scripture?
1 Corinthians chapter 7.
1 Corinthians 7. That's other one.
Release that, verse 10.
Okay. Chapter 7, verse what?
Let's read from chapter verse 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
You understand? A lot of people will read this and be like, oh, a man and woman are not allowed to be together no more. This is a scripture your homosexuals would pick.
Yeah.
You know, the homosexuals would see this and be like, oh, see, men and women ain't supposed to be together, because the women can have their own babies on their own without a man. Your conscious community idiots, because the women cannot give birth without a man. You understand? This scripture is Paul, he was a man that had no wives. You understand? He didn't have no wives. Not because he knows once you have a wife, you're taking time away you could be given to the Lord. You understand? He was a man, he was a prophet of God, so he had to go out and teach and lead the people and stuff like that. So he thought in his mind, If I get a wife, then I'm not going to be able to do what I am for the Lord. Paul just loved the Lord so much he wanted to devote his entire time. You know, and that's what that's saying. Of course, it's good. It's a good thing because serving the Lord is great. It's the number one job a man can do. But it's not wrong for a man to get a wife and then divide the time that's necessary. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication.
To what?
To avoid fornication.
And to avoid fornication, meaning to avoid any type of unlawful sex. Go ahead.
Let every man have his own wife.
And let every man have his own wife, meaning what a woman that's married to that man, he can't. It's saying you can't have one man cannot. Sorry, a woman cannot share a whole bunch of men. You understand? It's just a man and a woman. Let every man have his own wife, meaning you go to like a Greek fraternity or something like that. You'll have a man with his woman, and he'll let his homie sleep with her.
Right.
You understand? They do that in these colleges and these parties and stuff like that. They don't have no. They just think sex is sex. Some men actually will actually share their woman, which is a sin. You understand? If you all two married, that's you. You understand? Don't let a third party come into your bed. Go ahead.
Come to come. Let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
And so once you're married, you can do what? Call your spouse yours. Right? Go ahead.
Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence.
So let the husband render unto his wife due benevolence. Due benevolence is meaning when she wants sex, you're obligated to give her it. You know what I'm saying? You're not allowed to turn your partner down when they want it.
So what if I'm at the other White House giving to her?
Then you just be like, all right, baby, I'll be there in a little while.
What if all wives call at the same time?
Then you just say, okay, baby, I'm handling some business. I'll be there at my soonest convenience. You're not turning her down. You're not turning her down.
Went to sleep.
If you sleep,
if I went to sleep, yeah.
Soonest convenience. It's your soonest convenience, is it not? It is that you gotta when she needs it, you gotta give it to her. Of course, there's times where you can say no. It would be like right now. No, you can do whatever you want to do on the Sabbath. That's cool. But if you're doing the day, like if, let's say right now I'm teaching class, you have to be clean to be to be in the Lord's house.
Right.
You understand? Which would be like to be teaching that during class. I need to be clean, meaning once you have sex, you're unclean until sundown. Feel me? So for me to come teach class, I have to be clean, meaning I couldn't have sex before I came here. If I go out on our street speakings, I have to be clean when I go out there. When we go to, you got to be clean in any type of congregation or gathering of Israelites.
Right.
Unless it's like it's having a party, that doesn't matter. But when you're doing the work of the Lord or having a congregation of people at the same time, everyone needs to be clean.
Okay.
Meaning they couldn't have sex prior to that event. Go ahead.
And likewise, also the wife and to the husband.
So whenever you want it, she's obligated to give it to you, and vice versa. And then if she's on her flower and she still wants it, then that's something y'all gotta hash out together.
I heard you cannot have sex with your wife on a menstrual because it's unclean.
It's not. You become unclean many ways. You understand? You can like sex. Once you have sex, doesn't mean you are being unclean isn't against the law. You understand? If Kwan will pull that as well.
Come on.
So just a little brief. If a man and a woman have intercourse while the woman's on her flower, you're unclean for 7 days. The same time frame she's unclean for on her flower, you become the same time. Make sense? So you take her 7 days as well. You're unclean at the same as amount of time she's unclean. Let's say, but if you have intercourse with her on her last day of her flower and you get blood on you, you're gonna be unclean for 7 days as well. She'll be unclean before you're clean. I mean, she'll be clean before you're clean again. Make sense? So let's say she has 1 day left of her flower, right? And then y'all have intercourse. You're unclean for 7 days, rather than she's still only unclean for 1 day.
Oh, okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So whatever time you actually have sex with her on her flower, you're unclean for 7 days, and she's just unclean until her flower's over. for her regular 7 days.
Okay.
All right. This is Leviticus chapter 15.
So he's going to jump over to show you what I just said.
Okay.
This is Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 24. And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him.
You know what I'm saying? You lie with her, and you have sex with her, and her flowers upon you, and you got the menstrual cycle blood on you. Go ahead.
He shall be unclean 7 days.
For 7 days. Go ahead.
And all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean.
You know what I'm saying? And then whatever you touch technically becomes unclean as well.
So it did say it's a transgression of the law. That's okay. So if you break it down, he is unclean.
Yeah, he's just unclean. It's not a sin to be unclean.
But
that means he'll never have sex again.
So okay, should he have sex within those 7 days to be unclean?
If you all two have, if you're unclean,
different way. If I'm unclean with her, right, for 7 days, could I go to another way and have sex with her?
As long as you showered prior, yes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because after intercourse, you have to go take a shower and wash yourself off. You understand? You won't be physically clean anymore because you just clean your physical body, but spiritually, you're still unclean at that time frame. Make sense?
Yeah.
It's a twofold. You're unclean after physically and spiritually, but once you take a shower, you're not clean. You're not unclean physically anymore. Okay. You're just unclean spiritually in that sense. Go ahead.
I got the scripture for that.
Okay, my precept game.
This is Leviticus chapter 15 and verse. Same chapter.
Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 16.
Right. Leviticus, of course, everyone knows Leviticus is the book of the law.
Levitical law, yeah.
You understand? So this is gonna break it down even better. Go ahead.
And if any man see a copulation go out from him.
And you see the copulation would be you ejaculated.
Okay.
You understand? Go ahead.
Then he shall wash all his flesh in water.
He shall do what?
Wash all his flesh in water.
You should wash all his flesh in water. I mean, you gotta wash yourself off.
So this means, well, this is can a man, what's that word again? Masturbate.
Yes.
Is it a sense of masturbate?
No. You understand? You rather. There's no sin against you pleasing yourself. You understand? It's not what's the phrase one? It's damn. It popped on my mind about sin.
Where it's like where there is no law, there is no sin.
Exactly. There is no law, there is no sin. There's no law against masturbation at all. So you can't sin in it. You understand? You can do it. It's better for you to get your off rather than go find random people to do it for you.
So you say what? How is watching porn would be a sin?
Because
basically, if you eliminate the men, how?
So if you just watch women,
like not just say if you seen the women by themselves on the porn and the men masturbate to that video, now how would that be a sin? Because
you're making a whore out of the daughter of Israel.
Well, she's not of Israel.
Why would you watch another nation?
No,
you're making a whore out of all. You're making a whore out of the woman, regardless if she's an Israelite or not. You're like promoting her being a whore.
Yeah,
that's what you're doing. No woman should be a whore.
Right.
You watching her masturbate is like you're accepting and allowing her to do what she's doing.
So how should a man masturbate then? Because most men masturbate to pictures. And if he's masturbating to a picture of a woman that's not his wife, then technically that is a sin, right?
Is this woman, if she's wearing clothes, technically not.
If she's not wearing clothes.
If she's not wearing clothes, then if she's naked, you we're the Lord's little children. You understand? He loves kids. He loves us. So he wants to see us flourish and stuff like that. Yeah, and we have to be fruitful and multiply to do what? Keep our race going.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But if everyone stops having sex, then that's going to be a problem. You understand? If some people don't have kids, they don't have kids. As long as they aren't aborting babies. You feel me? If you go have an abortion, then you're sinning, yes. Because you just murdered a child. You understand? Abortion is murder, if y'all didn't know. You feel me? Doesn't matter what stage or whatever it is, it's against the law to get an abortion.
Come. Verse 8. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I.
You understand? I mean, he's saying it's good. Some widows don't have to remarry. You feel me? They can just live their life without being married. You feel me? They could have went their whole life. Let's say they went 20 years with so and so whatever died, and they never had kids. They don't have to go remarry to get kids. Feel me? But go ahead. You know exactly what I'm saying, don't you?
Verse 9. But if they cannot contain, let them marry.
You understand? Meaning if they can't contain the urge to go be married, just go let them. Feel me? Because some people, that desire to want to be held, if you're a woman, or that desire to have kids, something like that, if you have that desire, then let it loose. Feel me? As long as you do it on the right hand side. Go ahead.
For it is better to marry than to burn.
You understand? Because it's better to marry somebody. It's better to get married rather than to burn, meaning just sitting here wanting it 24/7 and not doing it.
And they're not literally talking about hell. That's why a lot of Christians have misconception.
Yeah, they
It's going into like hell in the pit.
Yeah, that's definitely not it. It's just being burned like that. You burn for something, you want something so bad, it's like, damn, you get that tingly, you get anxious. It's like, why go through all that? Just get it, go take it.
So what is your idea on heaven and hell? Like the whole...
There's, so there's 4 types of heavens according to the scriptures.
Okay.
First heaven, of course, they're not literally numbered, but I'm just counting them down.
Okay.
The first one would be like the 4th dimension where the Lord and the angels dwell, right? Then there's heaven as in heaven on earth, meaning just being in a high state. Like the so-called white man, he's technically living in heaven. Why? He's rolling around in Bentleys and Rolls Royces. He owns America. He owns France. He owns Russia. He's on a high place.
Okay.
You understand? And then the third heaven would be the heavens as in like your sky. Like the clouds and the top, like the sky. That'd be the heavens. Have you ever heard the term, look up at the heavens?
Yeah.
Are you looking up at the angels and the Lord? No, you're just looking up at the sky.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then the 4th heaven would be like outer space. Doing like outer space, where the stars and the moon are. That would be the 4th heaven.
So you believe that's what people are going to go after they die?
Once you die, what happens when you die is your soul, it goes up to the Lord. The Lord judges you, like says you did this, and then he throws you back down into the earth, and then you're a newborn baby.
I just told you that.
Reincarnation.
No, I was telling her about that. Because a lot of Christians get the concept like that. The Israelites, remember he said, our people live everlasting. I told her that we would die as men, but we would be reborn. Like it is actually true that once we die, we become reborn. And when I was telling her cast out of heaven, you go back to earthly state. That you going right back to earth into flesh. Like life never ends. It always repeats itself. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? When you die,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When you die and you're reincarnated, you're not going to be, some people will be like, I want to be reincarnated as a dolphin. Right. I want to be reincarnated as a butterfly. I'm good on being reincarnated as a butterfly that has a lifespan of like 3 weeks. I'm straight on that. when you die and you're reincarnated, if you're a black man from this tribe, you're going to be reborn a black man from the same tribe. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you're a woman, you're going to be a woman again. You know, or you're swapping genders and species every time you die and are reincarnated. That's just idiotic.
Now, what do you think happened to the white man?
The white man, he dies. He's reincarnated back as another white man.
Because if you understand that genetically, they're not even strong enough to survive within the next couple of generations, because they are dying and their body are deteriorating because they lack melanin and pigmentation. So how can they live? Because remember, 6,000 years prior to everything, right now we had a lot of civilization. The entire planet was black, from the people of Egypt the people from India all across the globe. So how did the white man come only a few thousand years ago?
The white man came from Cain and Abel. The first white man was Cain. The first so-called white man, we already know that they're technically red. According to the scriptures, the white man isn't really white. We just say white because that's what they label themselves as.
Right.
You understand? The first so-called white man was Cain. You understand? Because you know the story when Cain killed Abel. You know the story?
I heard it, right? Yeah.
Cain killed Abel, his brother, his brother, and the Lord cursed him and basically took all his melanin away, made him the first so-called white man. So then when he walked around the earth, everyone would know he's the man that murdered his own brother.
Right.
You understand? That was the curse that he was like, I can't. He said, I can't bear this. I mean, he went around walking around, and everyone knew his crime.
That really couldn't be true because if the white man, people started off at Jacob and Esau. A lot of people say Esau was the first white man. You believe Esau was the first white man, or
he was
pre-existence before that?
Cain. So it was Cain, and then when Cain died,
okay,
he reincarnated into Esau.
Okay, check this out. Okay, how can Esau be a fully blooded white man? But you understand, Jacob and Esau's mother was an Egyptian woman named Rebecca, and then his father was a Hebrew man. Because remember, he had them in the time of captivity. So if a white man came out as Esau, right? Remember, he's the only white man on the planet. Everybody on the face of the planet are melanated. So even today, with every melanated woman, if a white man has sex with a black woman, now I know genetically that white man is inferior than a woman. So if a white man have a baby, I know the DNA, if they check the DNA, it's going to be a white child, but it still has that melanin pigmentation. Why you think today you'll see white men without melanin pigmentation? My whole understanding about the white man, I don't necessarily believe that they was a part of the human family. I believe it was created opposed from a curse of God, how he punished us. I don't necessarily believe Esau was a white man.
That whole DNA crap is garbage.
No, when I mean DNA, I'm not going off of they studies. I'm going off biblical. It just even comes.
Okay, but biblical studies. Biblical studies.
Yeah.
What your father is what you are. Period.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
And what happened with the so-called white man, Esau? He became that. The hairy with red with hairy all over and stuff like that. Okay. We got to remember, what did Esau do? He sold his birthright.
Okay.
You understand? For that meat. You understand? And because what he did against his brother Jacob, meaning what they're doing to us right now, he's cast out. You understand? He's cast away. You understand? The so-called white man was created to be the devil. The Bible speaks of, literally.
But you know, the Bible made two differences. You know, the Bible also called Esau wicked, right? But he made a separation when he actually made wickedness, but he turned. Remember, later in the earlier scriptures, he said Esau as wicked, right? But later in the scriptures, he claimed devil. But then he put it in the man structure that it was kind of different from Esau than Jacob, because not Esau than the devil. Because now, instead of talking about Esau later in the scriptures, it's talking about the devil. The devil shall throw my people in prisons. The devil shall mingle inside of my different people. Because remember, the Caucasian race is only a 6,000-year-old race. So it's not possible for Esau to be the white man. I'm not saying the white man is the angel. White man is literally the devil. I don't believe that he came from an Egyptian woman who was black. And I don't believe that one white man can keep his genetics being an unmelanated, an unpigmented person, and he can just go off through generations without having, you see white people today without melanin pigmentation. So how did they come here and he had to mingle with a melanated woman in order to expand his nation? So that would be incorrect. That would be really incorrect.
So if this so-called white man is having sex over and over again, creating more and more children, how is that doing anything?
Because listen, when you understand white men, you talk about non-melanated and non-pigmented person. You wouldn't have that no more. If one white man have sex with her, the baby's gonna be melanated. I'm not saying it's gonna be a black baby. It's gonna be a white baby, but it's gonna be melanated. You have a lot of white people in this world who are unmelanated. So you telling me that a white man has sex with a black woman, the baby's gonna be unmelanated? That's untrue.
So show me anywhere in the scriptures that it says that white people, so-called white people, die faster or whatnot because they're unmelanated.
You can look at history because
I'm saying scripturally.
No, I understand scripturally, but you understand this too. That in certain parts of the Bible, that a lot of Bible, the Bible that we read has been written. Made metaphorically. It's written metaphorically. So basically, a lot of things is not literal. like literal terms, like say for instance heaven. A lot of Christians would take that out of context with thinking, oh, heaven is a place we go, we jumping around flowers, but that's not necessarily the case. Or a lot of Hebrew Israelites, they take the word red out of context, we think it's Esau. But when I actually look at the white man today, I know it couldn't be Esau. I know the white man was created. I had to believe the white man was created because back in ancient times, the technology and the amount of power and understanding that they had, it had like God created a certain group of people to control us and to put us into chains and slavery. So I don't believe necessarily that Esau is the white man. It just couldn't be possible.
It definitely could be possible. The whole point. How the white man really isn't right. He's actually red. Why?
Okay. When you say red,
meaning you can see you can see through his skin he's all red.
You just prove my point. When you say red, right? When you understand the color red, the reason why you can see the white man red because that's his blood showing under his skin.
Yes.
The reason why you see his blood showing under his skin because guess what he lacked? Melanin pigmentation.
And what does that have to do with anything that you said?
Because what I mean is you have a lot of white people in America that's unmelanated, unpigmented. If Esau had to mingle with a colored woman, it would be no such thing as an unmelanated person. That's the only thing I'm trying to get to you. To tell you,
but they still the bloodline
I understand
of that. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You're going with color and pigmentation. You go with the Lord is about bloodlines. Okay, the Lord doesn't give a damn about your color or anything like that.
No, the color don't mean nothing. But what I'm saying is it would be impossible for Esau to be a white man if he came with two black people. And then he has to mingle off with black people. And then you won't see a non-melanin pigmentation white person today. All I'm saying is, right, if you had the modern day white man, if y'all claim Esau was a white man and he mingled with all of the nations, you will see many colored people, but they will be a white race. Just like a long time ago when the white man used to mingle with the black sisters and those children were slave owners. A lot of them were slave owners and they kept us into captivity. I don't know the names of those people, but they knew they was white. But they had melanin. They had pigmentation. They wasn't white. That's what I'm trying to
have to understand, again, that the so-called white man and being unmelanated or whatever is a curse from the Lord. It is that two black people created Cain and Abel. But guess what? The Lord just took his pigmentation from him. Took it. He already had it. He got it stripped of him.
Okay.
That's the whole point. The Lord's stripping this race of people, not every last one, but he's stripping it from you so you can understand what race of people really is Esau.
Right.
That's the whole point.
I understand.
The Lord's stripping them on purpose of their melanin so you can walk around every day and say, this is basically Cain. This is the so-called white man. This is the devil the Bible speaks of. That's the whole point. He stripped them so you could see it. So you could see his curse and his affliction.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's the whole point. That
makes perfectly good sense, but all I'm saying is, why would he just be a pure white man during the time of biblical times, right? But you claim he had sex with so many colored women. Why would the race constantly appear? Why don't you just see colored people who just white? That's all I'm getting to.
Okay.
No, but back then they didn't have.
When you mean colored people that are white, you mean like they're colored on the outside, but they're actually so-called white man?
That's
Bob Marley was a white man.
Yeah, Bob Marley. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a white man. I understand it. But what I'm saying is, if you say Esau was the white man, like Esau was the white man, and he basically God cursed him. He took his pigmentation. All I'm telling you is today is the white man is cursed. His bloodline is cursed. So if he had sex with a black woman, the baby should come out pure white. It shouldn't come out with any of her features.
It's not true.
Yeah.
Genetics show features. That's genes.
Yeah.
Your genes create the makeup, the outer makeup of what you're gonna look like. Yeah. But the genes have nothing to do with your bloodline.
Right.
They don't. Because that's saying like you're A positive and you're B negative. Yeah. Just because you and her have sex doesn't mean your bloods are now A, B negative positive.
Okay.
Your bloods don't mix. Right. Your bloodline just goes down to the child. That's all it is. You understand? That has nothing to do with your features, your physical features, anything like that. Your physical features are deprived of the actual genes. The genes have nothing to do with the bloodline you deprive from. Mm-hmm. Make sense? So Esau, all he had to do is, of course, go sleep with whoever he slept with, had children. Cool. Some of them might have looked dark skinned like Bob Marley or like his woman. But guess what the Lord had to keep doing? Depriving some of them of their melanin. So when they became the great mighty nation that conquer us, we would know which nation they deprived from.
Right.
You understand? That's why the scriptures say what? The scriptures say that in Isaiah 14 that they were a stronger and exceeding nation.
Okay.
You understand? They are more powerful than us when we are in sin. Yes, of course. But if we're actually following the laws and commandments, they ain't gonna be nothing.
Right.
The Lord increased Esau's and the so-called white man's nation to the great extent it is now, and He's dwindling our numbers right now, so everyone can see. Because of course, when Christ comes back, we're going to take them captive.
Yeah, I know.
The Lord didn't create. Yeah, the Lord didn't create us. He didn't want us to be a huge numbered people right now. He chose us because we were the fewest in numbers. You understand? So we could overcome the adversity when we enslaved the so-called white man. That's the whole point. The Lord had to keep stripping them of that specific melanin in individual ones so we can see which race of people is the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
And that started with Cain, Esau, and so forth.
Okay, but you know, when he was born amongst the Egyptians, right? Esau and Jacob. Now, you know his mother, right? If she was living in Egypt around that time, did you know the pharaohs would have killed Esau because it looked different? Because anytime he was dealing with the pharaohs and they seen someone that looked different, that's how Moses' mother, who took him in, and he grew up as being an Egyptian because he blended in with the people of Egypt. Now, you know, if Esau was a full white man, the pharaohs would have killed him. By the time he would soon she would have had the baby because she would have seen it. She would have seen Esau as a white man. She would have killed the baby.
Even though we were living in Egypt, you realize how big it is, right?
Yeah, I know. I did.
Because there was what Goshen. There's plenty of places they gave just to the Israelites.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have to. Who says it was You want to say something, Quan?
Come on, sir. Even when Esau was born, nobody would have touched Esau because, of course, he was the son of Abraham. And then the Lord also said in the scripture that if any man would have touched anybody who was of the seed of who had the mark of Cain, then he would be avenged 70 times 7. Yes. Meaning that if an Egyptian would have touched Esau, it would have been his death would have been avenged 70 times 7.
Meaning the whole nation would have been wiped out.
Right.
The same way, the 70 times 70 means it's not just one death for one death. It's one death for an entire nation worth.
I understand what you're saying.
I think it was like 2013 or 2014, something around that time. There was a white news reporter, James Foley, right? So it was his name. He went over to like Iraq. He was a news reporter. He went over there to shoot film and all that. They took him, the Iranians or whoever it was, they took him captive, right? And they put on the news, they decapitated this devil.
Yeah.
One white man. And guess what happened to over there?
Right.
So-called white man sent bombs and killed hundreds and thousands of innocent people. That's 70 times 70. Kill one white man, your entire nation's about to get bombed.
Right.
You understand? The Lord of everyone, that's why when the Lord cursed Cain, because Cain was like, Cain pleaded to the Lord after he got told his punishment. He pleaded to the Lord saying, this curse is too heavy on me.
Right.
Meaning because he's like, he was scared to go outside and wander anywhere, like you were saying, because someone was going to kill him. Right. So the Lord showed mercy on Cain, even though he didn't have to. He showed mercy on Cain and gave that law. You understand? That statute or whatnot, saying if you kill this man, not only you are going to get punished for it, but everyone you even deal with.
Right.
You understand? So that was the Lord lightening the burden on Cain so he wouldn't get murdered on spot.
Right.
Same way with Esau. If you kill the so-called white man, the white man is going to come for you, your family, everybody. You understand how? You kill a white man, you go to prison, guess who suffers? Her. If y'all had kids, who suffers? Her, because why? You're out the house. And now because you're not there to protect the house anymore, guess what? The scriptures say what about taking the strong man out the house? It can't stand.
But if you do look at it, right, when you say they would destroy, the Egyptians if they would have touched the Esau, anybody from the nation. But he do know that the Egyptians harmed us at one point in time, and it was beating us, and even they had us in captivity. Now, if they had us in captivity, they were slaughtering us off. They was killing us off in captivity. So it still would make it where they would kill Esau, period, because he looked different. Because one, the Egyptians had no knowledge of the Most High Yah, because they was into their own ideology. Like today, the white man, right? I can pray God on the street. I can stand on the corner and pray on the street to God, but it still wouldn't stop the white man from killing me. It still wouldn't stop them from arresting me. It wouldn't. It would constantly be the same thing. The Egyptians, they had any fear of God. They didn't have any fear of the Israelites, because they were a great nation too back in biblical time. Not according to God, but according to the planet. When you understand the metal net and the metal net fur, they worship. They had their own deities like sun god Ra, Amen Ra, like all of those gods right there. They had no fear of the Israelites. Even like Moses, that's why he had to hit Moses around Egypt or whatever. They had to grew him up as an Egyptian, but he really was an Israelite. Like that's the whole purpose of it. So the Egyptians wouldn't be scared of Esau; they would kill Esau. It wouldn't be no reason for them to kill Esau.
At one point in time, everyone did know the one God.
Yeah,
you understand? That's the whole thing. Yeah. At times they did know why, because when you go all the way back to Noah and the ark and all that, it was only 8 people. You understand? Everyone on this earth came from those 8 people. And those 8 people had one God, which was ours. So in history, they knew the history, but just because, like, you used to go to the person out in the world, you give him the real history on black people, are they going to accept it? No, because why? People nowadays need to see it to believe it. You understand? The pharaohs knew about all that. They knew who they had in captivity. Literally, they knew they had the Lord's chosen people in captivity. But because they were in captivity, they thought in their mind that their God, the Israelites' God, didn't exist because they are doing so many crimes to them. You understand? They thought they knew he was existent, but then once they got put us in slavery, it was like, well, dang, he's not no crimes happening to me right now. Feel me? But the scriptures say what? When you do, just because you do something, that the punishment doesn't come speedily. Meaning it's not going to come right off the bat always.
Right.
You understand? Have you ever done something that you knew you shouldn't have done and you got punished for it like 10 minutes later?
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. Have you ever done something where you knew you could get punished for it and you got punished for it like a few months later? Is that things don't always work out like that. But black people, they need to see it off this to believe it. And I'm not saying black people, I'm saying everybody. Everybody on the earth needs to see something to believe it like this. Unless you're a Christian and you just have your sleep with a blind faith now. But really, in the Christian churches, they be throwing the Holy Ghost at people. Or the Holy Spirit at people, and that's them seeing God's miracles. In their eyes, at least.
Because what will make that Esau situation more sensible, like to be more realistic, only if Esau was born a black man and then God cursed him as he got older. It would make way more sense with that, because remember, he saw his birthright when he got a little bit older. So he wasn't a child, like he wasn't a baby when he saw his birthright. He was a little bit older.
Yeah,
so
he was a man.
Yeah, so by him being a man, it would make more sense if God cursed him at that age and make him leprous, because leprosy back in ancient times was lack of melanin pigmentation. So if he because leprosy is a sin against God, right?
It's not a sin. It's more like a punishment.
Okay, basically, it's a punishment or a curse by God. Yeah. So if you're a leprous person, that means you lack melanin pigmentation. So it wouldn't be Esau was born a white man. It could at least be he was born red man, a different type of man, opposed from him just being all white. Opposed.
None of these so-called white people are white. White is, we only say white because they label themselves white. They ain't that white.
Like lepers. That's what I mean. Leprosy. They don't have any melanin pigmentation. They don't have any of that. That's the whole understanding.
But the thing is, some so-called white people do.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Yeah. The melanin is just the skin tone. The Lord doesn't give a damn about your skin tone. Because 2 black people could create the albino. You understand?
Right.
That's 2 black people create albinos all the time. Right. They albinos are actually that goddamn white. They really are. They're that white. And then they usually have like the red afro. You know, they look
and also as well, I just want to say, just because as a brother or sister, it's like if a person happens to have leprosy, that doesn't mean that they don't have no melanin to where you can't be able to see their specific color or whatever, because you can be able to have leprosy within a brother in the nation of Israel. A black brother can be able to have leprosy to where it's spreading all over his body, white spots all over, but yet he still has melanin in his skin. He's still black in some areas, but he still is considered to be according to the nation of Israel, to be of the bloodline of Jacob. So
even let's say a black person has blonde hair. That's leprosy. Blonde hair is leprosy. We didn't know.
But basically, when you say leprosy, we're not talking about white marks or you having white skin. White skin does not make you have leprosy. I'm talking about when you're able to see so clearly the blood flows through someone's skin, as if they even go to the sun and it would get burned, or they can survive the hot, the heat or the cool air, stuff like that. Those are the people that are genetically, inferior to the rest of the world population, because I know genetically that the white man is inferior of us. I mean, they are inferior of us by their genetic defects. So they inferior of us. We are the genetically dominant people in this world. People with melanin pigmentation. I'm not just talking for us, the Africans too. The so-called Indian men.
And then once you start intermarrying, which is a sin, of course.
Yeah.
You have the so-called white man, like for example, Serena Williams and her disgusting little devil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That little baby, guess what? That little baby's gonna have some skills. Why? Because it picked up on some of her traits. You understand? But it's still a so-called white man. It's gonna have melanin. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And just because it's the so-called white man is the inferior race, but once they start intermingling with us, guess what it's gonna do? It's gonna start boosting their physical capabilities.
Yeah.
Did you know like 60 years ago, white women didn't have bodies? Like white women had zero bodies. Have you ever heard the term like white women don't have asses?
Yeah.
But now they do. Where do you think they got that? Where do you think they got that ass from?
I say medication. I wouldn't necessarily say they got different medication. Starbucks, all the protein or something they eat. They got
it from their mama. You know, they got it from their mama. It is what it is. You just say, I'm sorry. They got it through the gene, through the mother's traits. Yeah, okay. The same way that little Serena Williams baby, even though it's a devil, is gonna have her features. Okay, it's gonna have some of her athleticism. Feel me? Okay. But it's still a devil. Go ahead, Juan.
I got a scripture right here as far as for the plague of leprosy. It says in Leviticus chapter 13 verse 25. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot be turned white, and it shall be in a sight deeper than the skin.
So what?
And it shall be in sight deeper than the skin. It is leprosy, broken out of the burning. Wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean.
You understand?
It is the plague of leprosy.
Yeah, this is a plague. Like you see, there's so-called black models that have leopard, like they have the white patches all over their skins and their bodies. Guess what? Those white patches are going to be more sensitive to heat, or they'll be more sensitive to the sun and stuff like that. You can see through that patch of skin better than you can see through her darker patch of skin. So she's got melanin in some areas, but not like a so-called white man. He's gonna have like some so-called white men, like I said, do or don't. It's really just the Lord letting you know which nation is what nation they deprive from.
But isn't melanin starts in the brain, which is I think it's the pineal gland, the pineal or the pituitary gland?
I couldn't tell you the scientific term. I couldn't tell you.
Because leprosy starts because you got to think, and the Lord just said in the scripture, it's a plague. So it's a plague, and that can start like AIDS, smallpox. It can start at any given point in time, depending on whatever part of the body it may start at. All right.
But back then we didn't have diseases like we do now. Like a disease wasn't even a thing. Everything that we took in was herbal. It was natural. So like we had AIDS today, right? There's already been cures for AIDS and cancer simply off of the herbs from the ground. And those doctors who actually found those cures were killed simply because they wanted to keep the economics and the money keep flowing. Because a part of medicine and pharmacy, that's another word for witchcraft. So if we want to go back into diseases and things like that, that stuff never existed up until we got here and the economy kept rolling.
Because I wouldn't say that due to, for one, the scriptures as well say, seek ye a physician, which is like a doctor.
Right.
You understand? People are gonna have sicknesses and illnesses and ailments and stuff like that. Christ came back to heal all those types of things.
Well, when you say physician, he's not necessarily talking about going to the devil, because if you're conscious of to know that the stuff that they give you, like the medication, has been tampered with or been disruptive, it'd be better off understanding like natural herbs and things.
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
not saying going to the devil.
Yeah.
I'm saying
like that,
Israel had doctors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the doctor of our nation. You know, it's beneficial than going to the doctor out here.
Yeah.
If they making the medication more use acceptable to getting the flu.
I'm not saying that. Yeah. I'm not saying that we ain't living in the hell right now. But I'm saying that we for sure the diseases and stuff still ran rapid, like AIDS and stuff like that. They happened back in the time before even Noah. You understand? When that's why the Lord destroyed the entire earth, is because they were as of now, basically. You understand? Black people, we were going around being homosexual. We already know AIDS comes with that. It's in the scriptures. Your blood shall be upon you means your blood kills you. It's just that specific actions that they did, like smoking. They were smoking back in the day. Don't think that the white were the only ones that ever smoked weed.
Weed back then.
Smoking itself is a sin. Smoking period is a sin, according to the Bible. Proverbs 16 and 27?
I'm about to grab right now.
Yeah, smoking anything is a sin against the Lord. Why could I say that?
Your body is a temple.
Yes, it is. That's true.
Those are supposed to be food.
That's maybe, yeah, you're not wrong. So when you smoke, what do you put in your body?
Marijuana, nicotine. Well, I don't do it, disclosure. But nicotine, marijuana.
Right. Those are the specific things you are abusing or whatnot. But it's basically in the name. When you smoke, you're putting smoke into your body, into your lungs. Everyone knows that smoke does not belong in your lungs. Why? If you're in a house fire, what do people die from more in fires? The fire or the smoke? Smoke. When you smoke a cigarette or you smoke a blunt or a bong, what do? You take a big drag. What do you end up doing? Anyone? Coughing. Did you know what coughing is? Coughing is a bodily defense telling you something is in there that doesn't belong.
Right. So the person has asthma.
That's just a disease. They just have weak lungs. Asthma is just they have weaker lung strength than we do, or the people that don't have asthma. Right. You understand? That's why there's just levels your body rejects things in levels. Like throwing up, right? Puking. That's your body's last resort of defense for something that's in your body that does not belong. You understand? You don't see very many animals puking. Why? Because they don't have specific. They don't eat everything. Animals know what they can and can't eat. That's why you have your omnivores and your herbivores and stuff like that, because they know this is good for them and this isn't. They wouldn't even go touch it. You feel me? Like when you inject. So if you when you eat swine, pork, right, or crab and shrimp, stuff like that, what does that give you? Acne. Swine gives you acne. Pork, shrimp, crab, all that gives you acne. And when I was a child, I used to eat bacon for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? Pork bacon, right? I eat that, and I had a lot of acne when I was a kid. Even when after I grew up, once I found the school and stopped eating those things, I haven't had maybe one blemish every now and then. Literally, just maybe one. It's not like you're over here pizza face.
I know because it had like putrescine in it, and trick on it.
Yeah, to break down the body, give you blood clots, all those. Right. That's why people are dying.
Exactly. Yeah. Either your body rejects it in specific ways, or it just leads to death. You feel me? Let's read the scripture real quick.
Proverbs chapter 17, chapter 16, verse 27.
Right.
An ungodly man.
Hey, what?
An ungodly man.
Ungodly man. It's only the type of person it's talking about. Before it says man, of course, it means man and woman. Go ahead.
Diggeth up evil.
Does what?
Diggeth up evil.
Diggeth up evil. Everyone knows that to know how you gotta nurture it, you gotta plant it, and then you gotta dig it up after it gets too big and whatnot, and then basically start the process over and over again. Right? Go ahead.
And in his lips.
And in his lips.
There is as a burning fire.
As a burning fire. Meaning you gotta put something in you put something in your lips, and at the end of that thing you put in your lips, there's what? There's a fire at the end of that joint, isn't there? Without fire you can't have smoke. And then out the end of that blunt, or the end of that pipe, or the end of that bomb, there's what? A fire. Because that's the only way you can get smoke. So that's what an ungodly man smokes. It is that you can't smoke no cigarettes, none of that. But marijuana itself, it has medicinal purposes. You know what I'm saying? But if you're using it to stimulate, like get high, you're trying to just
use it for evil. You
use it for evil. Exactly. Like if you use it just to distort your mindset and forget about your problems for a couple hours, that's drug abuse.
Right.
You can use it as like an oil, a lotion, hair product. I don't know. You can use it as many other ways, but once you start ingesting it just for a high, it's wrong. Yeah. You understand? So the whole legalization of weed, they're doing it knowing it's the same way cocaine used to be a medicine. And guess what? They abuse it now.
Right.
You understand? Tobacco, they abuse it now. All these types of medicines, they just have turned it into a form of abuse instead of applying it in the right way it was meant to be. Makes sense? Because of course, smokers will be like, well, you know, in Genesis, the Lord said He created all plants because they're all good. Yeah, plants are good. Yeah. This is what you use it for.
It's like sex too, same thing.
Exactly. There's righteous ways to have sex, and there's wrong ways to have sex. There's righteous ways to be with a brother. There's wrong ways to be a brother. That's all. I'll talk about.
Now, you said something earlier about the heaven thing when we get cast up into heaven.
Right.
Okay, so when God judges our soul, okay, when we return back to earth, right? Now, how long will a process like that take? Will it be instant, or will it be like?
That's really we don't.
According to the scripture, like, have you ever read something with
that tells you how long you'll be up there with the Lord? Really, you just go up, He judges you, and throws you back down. It's not like you're over here kicking it with the angels. You ain't. That's the Lord's and the angels' realm. You understand?
And a person be reborn.
They're just reborn as a new
would
baby.
Would I forget everything that happened? Because it's like weird that I told her. I feel like
I know, which is Christ. And Christ was on earth before He was actually Christ.
So that would make Christ being on earth again today. We probably don't know.
No, Christ isn't on earth right now. Christ is in heaven waiting until the Lord gives Him the order to come get us out of this hell.
Right.
He's sitting up there in the Lord, in the flesh, with the Lord, on the right hand side of the Lord, in the flesh, chilling up there. Well, not chilling, but giving orders to angels to come for them to come do what they got to do. Christ is up there waiting. You understand? Christ was, if you run it back, Christ was Adam. Adam, that was Christ. Isaac, right? It was Isaac, right? Isaac was Christ. King Solomon was Christ. And then, of course, Christ Himself as Christ. He's been through different. That's why when you go to Revelations, the first chapter, I think it's like the 11th or 12th verse. He says, "I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning of sin and the end of sin." How could He be the beginning and the end of sin if He was only alive back in the Roman times?
Right.
The beginning. Who was the first person to ever sin?
Supposedly Eve.
The first man to ever sin.
Oh, it's Adam. Yeah.
Adam. Yeah. Adam was the beginning of sin. You understand? Eve, what she did was definitely wrong because she went against what the Lord said and everything like that. But it's Adam. Once Adam listened to Eve, that's when the whole table got flipped.
Okay, so what happened when the most sinful men get cast out?
Yeah. You understand? But no, I wouldn't say in the sense you're saying it, because once we're on top in the kingdom of heaven, there'll be no more any of that. It's either because we'll be following the laws again. We'll be under the laws.
What if we fall again and then you take?
We won't. When Christ comes back, that's going to be the last. That's going to be the last greatest kingdom on earth. That's it. Christ's kingdom is the final kingdom. We'll have dominion over everything on the earth. We won't be living in the same cities and states as other nations. We'll be all in our own land, like the Lord put us to begin with.
Right.
And then we'll have dominion over them. They're going to have to obey our God. But no, we know they can't do it because it's not.
Be slaves.
Every nation, they're all going to be slaves. Every nation.
What happened if I marry an African woman? Like, explain. Like,
you sinned, and you sinned. and you'll most likely be put to death in the kingdom of heaven, at least.
Will I be resurrected?
You'll be brought back to life. Yeah. Back, of course, as a child again. So the whole reincarnation is like a lot of people don't still believe in it.
I still believe. I know.
I mean, so a lot of people don't. But this Christ, like there's heavier scriptures than what we pulled already about reincarnation. Like if you do, let's say you had sex with an African woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then because she's not your people, you end up, let's say, killing her, right? After you pass away and you are reincarnated, you're in the life that you live, your new life, you'll be reaping the consequences of what you did in your past life.
So will I be African man?
No, you're gonna be the same. You're gonna be the same nation. It's like what you do in this life determines what happens in your next.
So you could, if I kept the law and kept myself under God, I could be a king or a priest in my next life.
Yeah.
Basically, I know what you mean.
The scriptures say the spirit is subject to a prophet is subject to a prophet, right?
Yeah.
If you die a prophet, you're gonna become reborn and you're gonna be a prophet again in that life, and so forth, so forth, so forth. Feel me?
Okay.
So it's how you live on earth determines, like what we do right now in this life is gonna determine what happens in our next, and so forth.
So whoever I was in the other life was really good. Real good.
That's how that works when it comes to the whole reincarnation aspect. Feel me?
So if that's the case, that means what the Egyptians put on the hieroglyphs on the walls, that would mean, like, you ever heard about the Book of the Dead? You know, the Egyptians studied the same thing that the Hebrews studied. They studied basically life after they died. Once they died, they're trying to put something on the hieroglyphs so they can remind themselves, like God Osiris. Or like what we used to write in the Bible, right? Like we wrote the Bible, the prophets wrote the Bible to remind themselves what's going to happen, in the future. And now today, we stuck with the Bible, and that was our work.
Yeah,
it's
For
weird.
all people know, they could be the specific man in the scriptures. Someone in the school could be Moses.
I could be Rebecca.
Who knows? Who knows? You don't know. That's the whole point. But it's basically this how you play out your life. It's going to determine how you are in the next. Make sense?
Sorry, sir.
Go ahead.
Contract.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. But with that, pass the class over to where's the?
I got it.
All right, come on, Mark. Bye. You can clip a lot too.
Okay.
Well.